राधा कृष्ण को गोपला शाम कुंड राधा कुंड की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवदीप धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, द्वारका धाम की जय, स्वामी भक्तवृंद की जय। All glory to the all glory to the Thank you very much.
Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Obeisances. How are you, Prabhu?
Very good. How are you?
Surviving by your mercy.
Wow.
Thank you.
King Kush himself.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Sahadev, take over, please. Where are you?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for being here. Dear devotees, we thank you for being here. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev, all glories to Samud Vaishnava devotees, and all glories to our revered speaker, His Grace Ishwara Prabhu. Prabhu, we are like 5 minutes behind, so without further ado, we may put the verse on the screen and you take it over from here.
All right.
It's very interesting. This is a very, very lengthy paper. I'll be learning from you how you tackle it. Hare Krishna.
Very big purpose.
Yes.
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Purave Vrachandra Radhika Chadalage Krishna Ya Krishna Bhakta Bhakta Namo Namah Narayana Namaskritya Narayana Narottaman Devam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Janamudaraye Nasapaye Sabadresu Nitam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Nastike Vaideramane Chava Purane Bharate Tata Ado Adyan Chamade Chahari Samachigiyate Mokam Kartula Vachalam Fankulam Garchi Gruhim Ya Kripata Hambande Sri Guru Dinatarine Paramananda Madhava Dharma Pajita Kadavuta Paramoni Masam Satan Vedam Vastavam Atavastu Shuran Chapatayo Mulanam Sima Bhagavati Mahamuni Kritinki Vaipara Ishvara Sadhyo Ridi Avarudi Trakitvita Kishanam Nigama Kapatalu Karitam Phalam Sukam Ukandava Sandutam Pibatam Bhagavatam Rasamalaya Muhura Urasika Bhavaka Atoyam Brahmasutranam Bharatata Vinyanaya Gayati Basharupasa Vidata Parabhimita Sabiditi Asanam Saram Saram Parabhimita Sabidatam Saramisi Bhaktamisati Tarasramita Shati Prashana Yatsa Sherti Kwasti Krishna Ya Vasudeva Ya Devaki Nandana Yacha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Nama Vasudeva Sutan Devam Kansa Chandra Madana Devaki Paramananda Krishna Vande Jagaguru Namamo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Samiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nebise Satsangavadi Pashta Desatir Desitarine Vanchakapatrubhyascha Kripa Sindi Vevacha Paritana Pavanabhya Vaishnavabhya Nama Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I thank everyone for being here this evening to the Hare Krishna platform. Am I very audible?
Very audible, yes, Prabhuji. Very good.
Okay. So this Hare Krishna platform, Hare Krishna Africa platform, whereby people can hear Srimad Bhagavatam on a daily basis from various speakers all over the world. It has become a very popular platform. that sometimes the speakers are also put on the Dunderbat sometimes, dunderbat.com. So which is very good. So we are streaming Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter 9. Today's text number 34. The chapter is dealing with the answers by citing the lost version, because Lord Brahma, he had prayed to the Lord, because Lord Brahmaji, this is from the beginning of creation, after Brahma, after he became self-realized, he was able to see the Lord. The Lord actually said that the Lord shook his hand. So which means Brahmaji attained the perfection by seeing the Lord face to face. So, and because Brahmaji knows his duty is to create as the creator of the universe. So how to execute this task? So Lord Brahma, he asked the Lord instructions. He asked the Lord questions for instruction about how to execute this mission. Specifically, how to attain the perfection of life. So the Lord is now giving the answer to Lord Brahma, giving him instruction. Now, the verse, today's verse, it formed one of the 4 verses which are considered to be the key verse of the Bhagavatam. This is called Chatusloki. So Chatusloki, this verse is the first one of the Chatusloki, 4 verses. 4 verses, it's called the whole Bhagavatam is based on these 4 verses. The first one was, I think must have been recited yesterday, which is what was that? Which is Aham Evasam Evaginaya Yasada Sapraparam Pashadaham Yaditacha Yo Vasishate Susmiham. So that's the first verse. And then the second verse is today's verse. And then there's a third one, and then there's the fourth one. So 4 verses are the 4 main verse, 4 key verse of the Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam contains 18,000 verses, 18,000 verses, and 335 or 335 chapters. Bhagavatam. But these 4 verses, the whole Bhagavatam is based on these 4 verses. So basically, because these 4 key verses were spoken by Lord Krishna himself, by the Lord himself, and then the whole Bhagavatam was centered around these 4 verses. So which means, as we read Bhagavatam, from every chapter, from verse to verse, it's all based on the conclusion which are in these 4 verses. So today's verse, so Lord Krishna is so now, because it's a very long purport, purport is like about 12 pages, very long purport. So I'm going to be reading, and as I read, I'll be giving comments, and then I'll continue reading. So I'm not just going, because if I had to read the whole thing, by the time I finish reading, that'll be the end of the class. That'll be the end of the class, you know. So I will read some few paragraphs, comment on it, and then continue going. So wherever we stop, if we don't finish tonight, then maybe the next person who's going to give class, they can continue on that from where we stop. So which means this kind of long purport, it doesn't necessarily have to be just one person speaking. It may have few speakers. So you can keep that in mind. So reitertam ya pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tadvidya atmano mayam yata baso yata tamaha. Retiatam ya pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tadvidya atmano mayam yata baso yata tamaha. Rete, without altern value, yet that which pratiyeta appears to be, na, not pratiyeta appears to be, cha, and atmani, in relation to me, tat, that, vidyat, you must know, atmana, mind, mayam, illusory energy, yata, just as, abasa, the reflection, yata, as, tama, ignorance or darkness. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. Purports. In the previous verse, it has already been concluded that in any stage of the cosmic manifestation, its appearance, its sustenance, its growth, its interaction of different energies, its deterioration, and its disappearance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, its disappearance, all has its basic relation with the existence of the personality of Godhead. And as such, whenever there is forgetfulness of this prime relation with the Lord, and whenever things are accepted as real without being related to the Lord, that conception is called a product of the illusory energy of the Lord, product of Maya. Because nothing can exist without the Lord, it should be known that the illusory energy is also an energy of the Lord. The right conclusion of dovetailing everything in relationship with the Lord is called Yoga Maya, or the energy of union. And the wrong conception of detaching a thing from its relationship with the Lord is called the Lord's Davi Maya or Mahamaya. Bodhi Mayas also have connections with the Lord because nothing can exist without being related to Him. As such, the wrong conception of detaching relationship from the Lord is not false, but illusory. So there are two things one has to take into consideration when talk of the false and illusion. For example, the class of philosophers called the Mayavadis, to them, this material world is false. A place of Maya, it is false. But now, material world, which is part of the material energy of the Lord, it's not false, it's real. It's real, it's not false. But the conception that people have of the material world, that is illusion. So there's a difference between illusion and false. Material world is not false. It exists. It's real. It's not false. But the living entity conception that, yes, when the living entity think that they're the product of material energy and that they can enjoy material energy, that is illusion. That is illusory. So now, in this text, the Lord said, so now, what does this text mean? What is the implication of this text? This word, we have to analyze it. Our term means, even though it's a value, but what is our term is indicating, the our term is actually indicating the absolute truth, which means the Lord. The Lord is the absolute truth. So he's the absolute personality, the supreme personality of Godhead. So the Lord said, what we can indicate to be of any value in this world, whatever it is, any idea that we may have, if it has no relationship with me, either appears to be or not appears to be, the Lord said, know that to be in Maya. You should know that to be false. If you should analyze this material world, and we try to separate that from the Lord, then that is illusion. That is false. So the Lord said, Yata baso yata tamaha. Yata baso, abas means reflection, the reflection of reality. Yata abas. Yata tama. So two things, reflection, and then tama, the darkness. When you go by the side of the water, and you can see, and then the sun is reflecting. So you can see the reflection of the sun from the river. However, when there are certain places where the sun does not reach, then that is said to be darkness. Now, as we go through the purport, there's a lot of deep elaboration on this conception of force and illusion and darkness. And also the great Acharya, also Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, he also gave a very, very long purport to this verse. So as also Srila Jiva Goswami, because this verse it actually explains the nature of the Lord, the nature of this creation, and the nature of the living entity. The nature of the living entity. So this verse explains this. So the Acharya gave very, very long purports to this long commentary on this verse. And of course, as I mentioned before, not talk about the fact that yes, the whole of Bhagavatam, the 18,000 verses, is centered around these 4 key verses. So now I continue the reading. So it said, misconceiving one thing for another thing is called illusion. For example, accepting a rope as a snake is illusion, but the rope is not false. You see, if you're in a dark place, and then you're in a dark place you've never been before, and then your leg touches a rope. Your leg wraps itself around a rope, and then you start saying, oh, this is a snake, this is a snake, this is a snake. You become fearful, this is a snake. So that acceptance of the rope to rope as a snake That is illusion. Because there's no snake there, it's just a rope. But you've taken the rope to be the snake. But at the same time, both the rope and the snake, they exist. They exist. It's a reality of both the rope and the snake is there because you have experience of both. The rope is there, the snake is there, but your false acceptance of one thing to be the other thing, that is illusion. And that's what actually trapped us in this material world. That's what trapped us here. So, but the acceptance is illusory. Therefore, the wrong conception of accepting this material manifestation has been divorced from the energy of the Lord is illusion, but it's not false. So we have to be deeply pondering over what has been analyzed here. What's been analyzed here. And this is going to be repeated again and again throughout the whole purport. That yes, the living entity accept material world has been different from the Lord, has been separated from the Lord. That is false. Because the world is made up of the lost material energy. Material energy is the lost energy, belongs to the Lord. The Lord has both material energy and spiritual energy. Both exist. And this illusory conception is called the reflection of the reality in the darkness of ignorance. Anything that appears as apparently not being produced out of my energy is called Maya. The conception that the living entity is formless, or that the Supreme Soul, or that the Supreme Lord is formless, is also illusion. The living entity has a form. The Lord also has a form. The Lord's form is eternal, Sachit Ananda Vigraha. The living entities, when in the material world, he has temporary form because accepting the material body is temporary. And this material body to be taken one life after the other. But at the same time, the living entity also have eternal form, has a spiritual form, which is also eternal. But this spiritual form is covered over while in the material world. So therefore, the living entity, because of being covered by the material energy, by illusion Maya, cannot conceive of his own spiritual form in the material world. So, and this illusory conception is called a reflection of the reality in the darkness of ignorance. Anything that appears as apparently not being produced out of my energy is called Maya. Okay, so the Lord is called, okay, I've read this already. So in the Bhagavad Gita 2:12, it was said by the Lord in the midst of the battlefield that the warrior standing in front of Arjuna himself, and even the Lord himself had all existed before. They were existing on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and they will all continue to be individual personalities in the future also, even after the annihilation of the present body, and even after being liberated from the bondage of material existence. In all circumstances, the Lord and the living entities are individual personalities, and the personal features of both the Lord and living beings are never abolished. Only the influence of the illusory energy, the reflection of light in the darkness, can, by the mercy of the Lord, be removed. In the material world, the light of the sun is also not independent, nor is that of the moon. The resource of light is Brahmajyoti, which diffuses light from the transcendental body of the Lord. And the same light is reflected in varieties of light. The light of the sun, the light of the moon, the light of fire, or the light of electricity. So the identity of the self has been unconnected with the supreme self, the Lord, is also illusion. And the first claim, I am the supreme, is the last illusory sneer of the same Maya, or the external energy of the Lord. So this external energy of the Lord, the Mahamaya, which deludes every conditioned soul in the material world. And because of this delusion, the conditioned soul accept what is unreal as real, and what is real as unreal. But as mentioned before in the PRABHU just read, Srila Prabhupada is citing the Bhagavad Gita, he said, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. This is Gita 2:12. Na tueva hamjatu na asam, na tane me janadi paha, na chavana bhavisha maha sabivayam ataparam. So this is what the Lord is telling Arjuna, that there was not a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor this king, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. This is what we call vidya. Vidya means knowledge. And anything that is opposed to it is avidya. So this verse is both vidya and avidya. Normally, with the right conception in this world, this is the vidya knowledge. When a living entity is endowed with knowledge, then it can accept the reality. It can accept the reality that, yes, I am not this body, I'm a spirit soul, and the spirit soul is part and parcel of God, part and parcel of Krishna. That is knowledge. But when the living entity is overcome with avidya, with ignorance, because there's knowledge, the opposite of knowledge is ignorance. So when the living entity is covered by ignorance, then he accepts the material body to be the self. Accept the material body to be the self, and accept the material world to be everything. This is called this is avidya. When there's avidya, avidya potency. So the last potency is there, vidya and avidya. So okay, I just continue reading. The Vedanta Sutra, in the very beginning affirms that everything is born from the Supreme, and thus, as explained in the previous verse, all individual living entities are born from the energy of the Supreme Living Being, personality of Godhead. Brahma himself was born from the energy of the Lord, and all other living entities are born from the energy of the Lord through the agency of Brahma. None of them has any existence without being dovetailed with the Supreme Lord. Whatever prayer to be of any value. Krishna is telling Lord Brahma, actually Lord Narayan is speaking, is the one who is talking to Brahmaji. It's Lord Narayan. So he's telling Brahmaji that yes, anything that of any value in this world, know it to be everything in relation with me. And if anyone should accept to think that anything in this world it has no relation with the law, then that the law said two things: Abbas, reflection, or Maya, Tama, darkness, ignorance. You see? So it's just the simple meaning is that everything material spiritual world is in relationship with the Lord. Everything is coming from him. Nothing is outside the existence of the Lord. Narayana be Asat. Narayana be Asat, which means everything is coming from Narayana. Narayana be Asat. This is from the Vedanta Sutra. Abhyasa means from Narayan, everything is coming from him only. Both material and spiritual world. And this material world consists of 24 elements. 24 elements. And these 24 elements, it's the combination is called what we call pradhana. Pradhana means the combination of material energy in its combined form is called pradhana. In the combined form, this material energy. And this pradhana is the lost external energy, is the lost external energy that is always there. So when material universe was created, then these combined elements, they're like a big lump together, big lump, which means there was no variation, there was no division, there was no planetary system, none of everything was just one lump together. One lump together. And then the Lord, then by his own potency, by his own potency, then the Lord, he manifested himself in the form of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and then he entered this, he gave life to this pradhana. He gave life through his glance. And through the glance, he gave life to it, and then the creation begins. Manifestation of Brahma and all these things. Then when the Brahma was manifested, then these all universal varieties started becoming being manifested. The higher planet, the lower planet, the middle planets, various planets, then the creation of the sun, the creation of the moon, and all that. Everything started being manifest. But the origin of everything is the Supreme Lord himself. Nothing exists without him. And if we think that something exists without the Lord, that's simply our illusion. That's simply our ignorance. And that's why we're in this material world. Devotees never think that anything exists outside the Lord. Devotees know that, yes, everything exists within the Lord only. It's just like, for example, there was one time, Mother Yashoda she has baby Krishna in front of him. So Mother Yashoda, she was just curious. She was curious. She wanted to see Krishna's mouth. And Krishna was just a baby, just less than a few months old, baby. So Mother Yashoda, she looked inside Krishna's mouth. But when she looked inside Krishna's mouth, what did she see? She saw the whole universe. She saw the universe with all varieties of manifestations, the planetary systems, everything. She saw the sun, the moon, demigods, so many things she saw. She saw everything within the mouth of Krishna, the universe. And then she even saw the land of Gokul, where she was. And also seeing herself is like a mirror, looking the mouth of Krishna. And then Mother Yashoda, she became temporarily illusion. She became temporarily, let's say, perplexed that She just said that, what is this? What is this? What is this? What am I seeing? What am I seeing? But the Lord, because his mood in Vrindavan is that of sweetness, not Aishwarya. The Lord does not like to display his own energy, his own vibhuti in the land of Vrindavan. The Lord only likes to display his sweetness, whereby devotees, they have love and relationship with him. So when Mother Yashoda, when she was temporarily thinking that, who am I? What is it? What am I looking at? What is it? What is this? And then Krishna applies Yoga Maya. So with this Yoga Maya, immediately covered the intelligence of Mother Yashoda, and the Mother Yashoda, that vision vanished, and I said, oh, my son, my son, my son. And then she was very, very affectionate, and then she's ready to give breast milk to her son. So she could only think of her son, because her son, her intelligence was covered over by Yoga Maya. So she could no longer think about what she had just seen, which means seeing Krishna, thinking that maybe Krishna is God. So she could no longer think of that. So which means the Lord asked through Maya, the Mahamaya and the Yoga Maya. The Mahamaya is what deludes every living entity in this material world. Every conditioned soul is illusion by Mahamaya. But Yoga Maya is what enable the devotees, the bhaktas, to render loving devotional service with Krishna. And as such, devotees enjoy the transcendental bliss. So it says the independence of the individual living entity is not real independence, but it's just a reflection of the real independence existing in the Supreme Being, the Lord. The first claim of supreme independence by the conditioned souls, the false claim of supreme independence by the conditioned souls is illusion, and this conclusion is admitted in this verse. Accepting first to be the reality and accepting the reality to be the first. Now, a mention of the independence of the living entities here. Because now there's already a mention here that the independence of the Supreme Lord, there's a verse that says, Jaman Yasya Yada Intarat, Church of Abhigyan Swarat. The Supreme Lord is the supreme independence. But living entity also has independence. But the independence of the living entity must be properly used. If the living entity think himself to be totally separate from the Lord, totally independent of the Supreme Lord, then it becomes conditioned in the material world. Because yes, there's independence, but the living entity cannot really be truly independent, because you have to be dependent on something. You can either be dependent on Maya, when the material world, or while becoming free from the influence of Maya, then become dependent on Krishna. Tumi Savi Surishwari, Brajadinda Kumar, Tumare Sa Sinjit Sinjal Samhar. Tumi Savi Surishwari, Brajendra Kumar, Tumare Chaya Biswe Sijamha Samhara. Oh, my dear Lord Krishna, Brajendra Kumar, the son of Nanda Maharaj, you are the controller of all the controller. To me, sorry. You are the controller of all the controllers. There's so many controllers. But you are this Ishwari. So, Miss Saveshwari, Ishwari, you are the controller of all the controllers. Many controllers are there, Brahmaji, Shivaji, and there are many demigods, they are controller. But Krishna is the controller of all the controllers. So therefore, the Mahajan is saying, by your will, this material world is being created by your will. By your will, Lord Brahma is creating. By your will, Lord Vishnu is maintaining. By your will, Lord Shiva is destroying. And by your will, the sun and the moon are rising and setting by your will. And without your sanction, without your will, the tiny conditioned soul cannot do anything without your supreme will. So which means every living entity, they may think themselves independent, but they're not really independent. Everybody is dependent on the supreme will of the Lord. So therefore, but the same time, the Lord has given the proper way to exercise one's free will, one's independence. The Lord has given that. And that is the will to be able to be in a loving relationship with the Lord. That the Lord give the free will for the living entity to exercise that free will, so that to be in a loving relationship with the Lord. And the Lord does not interfere with that. The Lord will not interfere with that free will, because we are meant to love. We are meant to love God, but that love God must be done out of free will. There is no force there. So in the kingdom of God, there is no force. Everything is done out of pure love. When the living entity properly exercise its independence, then it develop that love for Krishna, that love for God. And when there's love for God, it's been developed, then the living entity, there's a proper reciprocation with the supreme law. Proper reciprocation is there, whereby the living entity love God, and God also loved the living entity. Bhaktas and between Bhakta and Bhagavan, when there is Bhakti, Prem Bhakti involved, so there is love, there is bliss, there is ananda. The living entities have real happiness, real bliss. Similarly, also the Lord is also happy. So both relish happiness together. Just like last week, we celebrated the Gopanima, the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We celebrated, and just like we are giving Guru Kata, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared because he wanted to understand the nature of the love of his devotees. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, who had come as his own devotee, to understand the nature of the love of his devotee. And he wants to understand what is the relishment devotees are getting through their rendering of service to him, Krishna. And at the same time, what is the happiness devotees are getting? He wants to release that happiness. The Lord becomes greedy to release that happiness. So therefore, the Lord comes as Chaitanya Prabhu, just to understand those three things. The nature of Prem Bhakti, the attraction that devotees have towards the Lord, and then the happiness they get. The happiness they get when they are in a loving relationship with him. So the Lord himself, he wants to understand that. So he becomes Chaitanya Prabhu, just to have this understanding. You see. So that is the proper use of independence. So then Prabhupada continued. Persons with a profound of knowledge become illusioned, and therefore the so-called scientists, physiologists, empiric philosophers, etc., become dazzled by the glaring reflection of the sun, moon, electricity, etc., and deny the existence of the Supreme Lord, putting forward theories and different speculations about the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of everything material. The medical practitioner may deny the existence of the soul in the physiological bodily construction of an individual person, but he cannot give life to a dead body, even though all the mechanisms of the body exist even after death. The psychologist makes a serious study of the physiological conditions of the brain as if the construction of the cerebral lump were the machine of the functioning mind. But in the dead body, the psychologist cannot bring back the function of the mind. These scientific studies of the cosmic manifestation or the bodily construction, independent of the supreme law, are different reflective intellectual gymnastics only. But at the end, they are all illusion and nothing more. So people spend so many years studying, go to university, trying to understand the dynamic nature of the material body. But, but what is their study? What is the conclusion of their study? What is the conclusion? The fact still remains that the living entity, no matter how great they may are in their scientific analysis, still, they can never really fully understand the actual construction of the material body, both gross and subtle. Because material body is made up of eight elements. So the gross element is there, and then the subtle element is there. Even though one may spend many years in the universities, accumulating so many degrees, one may become DHE, Doctor of Science, all this, still, they can never understand the real dynamic nature of the human mind, of the human body. They can not fully understand. And that's sometimes, just like the materialists say that one day we will create a human body, one day we will create life one day. But that is just aspiration only, that one day we will create life. But you can never create life because life does not belong to you. Life belongs to God. Life doesn't come from you. But due to ignorance or just using bombastic words, they say, oh, one day we're going to create human life in the laboratory. But have they ever done that? No. They will never, because they're not, because the life is not because of them. Life is not within their capacity. And once somebody dies, they can never bring anybody back to life. It's impossible. Only the Lord is possible of doing that. So these scientific studies of the cosmic manifestation or the bodily construction, independent of the Supreme Lord, are different reflective intellectual gymnastics. You see, just intellectual gymnastics. All such advancements of science and knowledge in the present context of material civilization is but an action of the covering influence of the illusory energy. See, illusory energy, Maya has two influence. One is throwing influence, and the other one is covering influence. The material energy, through the living entities, in the ocean of material existence, that's the throwing potency. So it's thrown into the ocean of material existence, and then the covering, then it covers the intelligence, it covers the living entity, whereby the living entity think himself to be a product of Maya. Take himself that he belong here only. Covering influence and throwing influence. So So Prabhupada is saying the next sentence here that the illusory energy has two phases of existence, namely the covering and the throwing. By the throwing influence, the illusory energy throws the living entity into the darkness of ignorance. And by the covering influence, she covers the eyes of men with a wonderful knowledge about the existence of the Supreme Person who enlightened the Supreme Individual Living Being, Brahma. The identity of Brahma with the Supreme Lord is never claimed herein. And therefore, such a foolish claim by the man with a profit of knowledge is another display of the illusory energy of the Lord. The Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita 16, 18, 20, that demoniac persons who deny the existence of the Lord are thrown more and more into the darkness of ignorance. And thus, such demoniac persons transmigrate life after life without any knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because in the chapter 16, that describes the demoniac, about demoniac and divine influence, demoniac and divine nature of the living entity. Ahankara. Okay, thank you for putting this on the board. So Ahankara, Balam Dapan, Kamam, Krodam, Chasamshita, Manatma Parade, Su Prabhisanto, Vayusa Yakaha. So the Ahankara, the false ego, the birth by false ego, strength, pride, loss, and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. It's the demoniac influence. This all due to the lost illusory energy, when the living entity is covered by Maya, by avidya, covered by Maya. And when covered by Maya, the real intelligence is lost. One is become devoid of reality, and one loses one's own self. Just like one time when Indra was kind of, one time he was puffed up, became very arrogant. So when he became very arrogant, so the sage, they caused Indra to become a pig. He was caused to become a pig in this earth planet. Even though he was the king of heaven, the king of the demigods, but he was caused to become a pig. So immediately Indra came down and became a pig. And then once he became a pig, he forgot who he was. Totally, it's not like his identity of being a Brahma, being Indra, that was totally covered. Now, he became a pig. Now he's become very happy now, thinking himself to be pig. Pig, and then he has wife. He has wife, and with so many children, wife and children he has been. He has wife and he has many children. Very, very happy. And his food is stool. His food is stool. That's what the pigs eat. Here in Vrindavan, there are so many pigs. There's one particular place. Normally, if you go into the field in Vrindavan, you find many pigs are there. And normally, people, maybe not so much now, but before, people, when they have to release themselves early in the morning, they have to go into the field to pass. And when they go into the field to pass, sometimes you may see a pig running to come and eat up whatever you're passing, because that is their food. So the pig will be running. Sometimes the pig may even knock you down to get your stool. That can happen. So Indra was very, very happy. He had become a pig. He has many children, his wife and all that. So as this was going on, the heavenly planet became, because it's devoid of rule, devoid of king. So Lord Brahma was very, very concerned, said that, oh, I need to have the ruler here. And I need to have someone to rule the heavenly planet. Now this Indra, he has become a pig. So let me go back to bring him back to his position, let me go back to earth and bring him back to to the heavenly planets. So Lord Brahma came down here, and then he noticed Indra, who has become a pig with his family. He has become, Indra has a big family now, family of pig, wife and children. So, and then Lord Brahma, he saw Indra, big pig. He called him up. Hey, Indra, come back to the heavenly planet. Stop this pig business. Come back to the heavenly planet. But even though Lord Brahma was calling, but Indra could not listen. It's like, he just saw some guy saying something. He could not figure out what this fellow is. He saw this big fellow saying something. He could not figure out what this person is saying. It's like, what he's talking about. So he was busy himself eating his stool and enjoying himself with his wife and children. Busy himself. So even though Lord Brahma calling again and again and again, Indra, come back to the heavenly planet. Still, Indra will not listen. Of course, normally, when you're trying to give spiritual knowledge to someone, and when the person is very, very materially attached, no matter how much you say, they will not listen to you. People only begin to listen to you only when they are affected with some material misery. Otherwise, when people have good things going on in their life, they will not listen to you about spiritual message. They will not. That's the reality. So Brahmaji was calling Indra. Indra will not listen. So Brahma know that, okay, this Indra is very, very attached to his children. So therefore, let me do something. So Lord Brahma kill all the children of Indra. He killed all his children. So many of them, hundreds of them, he killed all of them. So when his children was killed, so Indra, he became furious. Said, what is this? Who has killed my children? He looked around and he saw this big person, Brahmaji, kill his children, but he could not attack Brahma because Brahma is so big and he's just so little thing. Oh, so he was simply lamenting, oh, what is this? My children has been killed. What is this? What is this? So he simply lamented for the death of his children. He was lamenting. And then, so when he was lamenting for the death of his children, then Lord Brahma called. They said, oh, Indra, come to the heavenly planet. I've come to take you to the heavenly planet. You belong there. You don't belong here. You belong there. Still, Indra will not listen because Indra was thinking that, well, my children has been killed. His wife is there, so he can easily produce another set of children. So thinking this way, so Lord Brahma killed his wife. So when Lord Brahma killed his wife, now Indra, in the form of a pig, he became enraged. He became enraged because now his wife has been killed. He tried to run towards Brahma to try to attack, but could not do anything. So he was lamenting. And then Lord Brahma called up and said, Indra, come to the heavenly planet. I've come to take you, belong there. So because all his family members have been killed, his wife and children have been killed, now Indra started listening. He said, who are you? What do you mean, what do you mean heavenly planet? What do you mean heavenly planet? Brahma said, you belong there. You are the king of heaven. Come with me. Jimmy, I come from heaven. I'm the king of heaven. I should come with you. What is there? Is my wife there? Is my children there? So Brahma said, come on, your wife is the most beautiful woman in the creation, Sachi. So anyway, when the living entity is fully distressed, then they can hear the spiritual message. They can hear the signs of identity. But in this particular situation, which is in what we are reading here, through this covering influence, the living entity forget himself, forget reality. So therefore, the Lord said, so the Lord said, this material energy of mine is very, very difficult to overcome. It's very, very difficult to overcome this material energy of mine. So we continue the reading. The same man, however, if you can try, okay, the same man, however, is enlightened in the disciples section from Brahmaji, who was personally instructed by the Lord, or in the disciples section from Arjun, who was personally instructed by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita, he accepts the statement of the Lord. Ahan savasha prabhavo, mata sava prabhatate, iti mata bhajante man, Buddha Baba samamvita. So this, actually this sloka is also happened to be one of the important sloka of the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita also has 4 sloka, which begin from chapter 10, text number 8 to 11. These are the 4 slokas of the Gita, which is considered to be the key verses of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter sloka. So the Lord is the original source of all emanations, and everything that is created, maintained, and annihilated exists by the energy of the Lord. The same man who knows this is actually learned, and therefore he becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The Lord said, Vasudeva 780, some Mahatma Sudulaba. Vasudeva 780, some Mahatma Sudulaba. The one who knows that Vasudeva is everything. 780. The one who knows Vasudeva. Who's Vasudeva? Krishna is Vasudeva. So such a person who knows that, yes, the Lord says, Master Prabhupada, that everything comes from me. Everything comes from him. Master Prabhupada, everything comes from him. And then what did that person see? He engaged in the loving devotional service of the Lord. When one knows that Krishna is everything, nothing is besides the Lord. Having gained this knowledge, one engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Buddha Baba Samamvita. But it's very difficult to find. That's why the Lord says, Sam Mahatma Sudulaba. Such a person is known as a great soul. The person who knows that the Lord is everything. And then the person engaged in the loving devotional service of the Lord is a very, very, very rare soul. So in chapter 7 of the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord mentions that there are thousands of men who are searching for me. And among thousands of men who are searching for me, hardly one person knows me in truth. Hardly one person knows me. Why is that very early for one person to know him? Because it's very difficult to know the Lord. And why is it difficult for us to know him? Because we are in this material world, being influenced by the material energy. And even though we may be making effort to try to understand the Lord, but at the same time, we have our own individual desires. We have our own individual, let's say, our own plan. Even when we come to the Lord, still, we have something else in mind. That maybe it's good to go to the temple, become a devotee of the Lord, so that I can get something out of it. So that I can get something out of it. So therefore, let me become a devotee so that I can get something out of it. So, just like Srila Bhaktivedanta, used to say that many people who claim to want to serve Krishna, to want to serve the Lord, but actually they have their intention is for the Lord to serve them. They want to take service from Krishna. Not that they want to give service to Krishna, but they want to take service from Krishna. That is their intention. So therefore, the Lord said, Mahatma Sudulata, a real Mahatma, great soul, great devotee, Sudulaba, very, very difficult to find. thousands and thousands of those trying to be a devotee. Maybe hardly one person become a real devotee. And how's a real devotee defined? Srila Rupa Goswami said, Anya Abilasita Sunya Gana Kamadana Vitam Anoku Yana Krishna Silana Bhakti Utama. Anya Ambilasita Sunya Gyana Kamadi Anabritam. A person who have no demand and desire for anything, for any kind of karma, for gyan, for mysticism, perfection, anything like that. Anya ambilas, any other, anya abila, any other desire for anything, but mysticism, perfection, yoga perfection, whatever. And the person simply desire to simply want to give pleasure to Krishna. So that's how the bhakti is defined. Anu kuyena Krishna no silana bhakti utama. That is the way bhakti is defined for someone who have no other desire, no other aspirations, no karma or anything, simply want to make Krishna, want to give happiness to Krishna. That's how the bhakti is defined. So continue from the purport that although the reflectory energy of the Lord displays various illusions to the eyes of persons with a profound of knowledge, the same person knows clearly that the Lord can act even from afar, far beyond our vision, by his different energies, just as fire can diffuse heat and light from a distant place. In the medical science of the ancient sages, known as the Ayurveda, there is definite acceptance of the Lord's supremacy in the following words. Jagayoniyani chasya chidanandayaka rupina punsosti prakriti nitya patichayeva basvataha achetana pichaitanya yogena paramatmana akaro vishwan nakilam anita natakakritam. So, he mentioned, it is a very long paragraph. There is one supreme person who is the progenitor of this cosmic manifestation and whose energy acts as Prakriti, or the material nature, dazzling like a reflection. By such illusory action of Prakriti, even dead matter is caused to move by the corporation of living energy of the Lord. And the material world appears like a dramatic performance to the ignorant eyes. The ignorant person, therefore, may even be a scientist or physiologist in the drama of Prakriti, while the same person knows Prakriti as the illusory energy of the Lord. By such a conclusion, as confirmed by the Bhagavad Gita, it is clear that the living entities are also a display of the Lord's superior energy, para prakriti, just as the material world is a display of the Lord's inferior energy, apara prakriti. The superior energy of the Lord cannot be as good as the Lord, although there is very little difference between the energy and the possessor of the energy, or the life and the heat. Fire is possessed of heat, but heat is not fire. This simple thing is not understood by the man with a profound of knowledge who falsely claims that the fire and heat are the same. This energy of the fire, namely heat, is explained here as a reflection and not directly fire. Therefore, the living energy represented by the living entities is a reflection of the Lord and never the Lord himself. Being the reflection of the Lord, the existence of the living entities is dependent on the Supreme Lord, who is the original light. This material energy may be compared to darkness, as actually it is darkness. And the activities of the living entity in the darkness are reflections of the original light. The Lord should be understood by the context of this verse. Non-dependence of both the energies of the Lord is explained as Maya or illusion. No one can make a solution of the darkness of ignorance simply by the reflection of light. Similarly, no one can come out of material existence simply by the reflected light of the common man. One has to receive the light from the original light itself. The reflection of sunlight in the darkness is unable to drive out the darkness, but the sunlight outside, the reflection can drive out the darkness completely. In darkness, no one can see the things in a room. Therefore, a person in the dark is afraid of snakes and scorpions, although there may not be such things. But in the light, the things in the room can be clearly seen, and the fear of snakes and scorpions is at once removed. Therefore, one has to take shelter of the light of the Lord, as in the Bhagavad Gita Srimad Bhagavatam, and not the reflective personalities who have no touch with the Lord. No one should hear Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam from a person who does not believe in the existence of the Lord. Such a person is already doomed, and any association with such a person, any association with such a doomed person makes the associator also doomed. That's like my Chaitanya Prabhu said, Mayavadi Bhasya Shunali Hoy Savanas. That yes, this Bhagavatam contained information of the Supreme Lord. But if one hear from a Mayavadi, a non-devotee Mayavad, then the Lord said, Hoy Savanas, that everything is spoiled. So therefore, one should hear from only the devotees, the pure devotees of the Lord. And the pure devotees, they don't cover anything. They don't cover the identity of the Lord. They give everything. They give all the information as it is. No covering. So it's a very, very long purport. I think I've only covered some few pages. So maybe the next person is going to give class. They can continue from that next paragraph.
Prabhuji, you may have to finish it because this is the last paragraph. You did a very good job.
This is the last paragraph?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, let me see.
It's still lengthy though, but this is the last paragraph.
It's pretty long. No, it's not last paragraph. It's a long paragraph. Not according to what I'm having here. Oh, I see. Okay, you are right. Because I'm using iPad and
Okay.
both Prabhupada and
Okay.
Srila Chakravarti Thakur's purports.
Okay. Okay.
Just continue. Okay.
Okay.
So I already read the last paragraph. According to the Padma Purana, within the material compass, there are innumerable material universes, and all of them are full of darkness. Any living being, beginning from the Brahmas, there are innumerable Brahmas in innumerable universes, to the insignificant ant, are all born in darkness, and they require factual light from the Lord to see him directly, just as the sun can be seen only by the direct light of the sun. No lamp or man-made torchlight, however powerful it may be, can help one see the sun. The sun reveals itself. Therefore, the action of different energies of the Lord or the personality of God himself can be realized by the light manifested by the causeless mercy of the Lord. The impersonalists say that God cannot be seen. God can be seen by the light of God and not by the man-made speculations. Here, this light is specifically mentioned as Vidyat, which is an order by the Lord to Brahma. This direct order of the Lord is a manifestation of his internal energy. And this particular energy is a means of seeing the Lord face to face. Not only Brahma, but anyone who may be graced by the Lord to see such merciful, direct internal energy can also realize the personality of Godhead without any mental speculation. So the Lord cannot be seen, of course, and one has no power to see him. One cannot command the Lord that I want to see him. But the Lord can be seen by the person whom he chooses. He can be seen by the person whom he chooses. There's one verse in the Upanishad, was that which shows that the Lord cannot be seen but when he chooses someone by a person, which means when the Lord has become merciful towards a person, when the Lord becomes pleased by the action of a person, then the Lord may choose to reveal himself. Just like Brahmaji, he was born in darkness because the material world was completely dark in the beginning. So he was born in darkness. And then by listening to the word, is when he heard the instruction, Tapa, so he started meditation. He started meditating on the Lord. And that meditation of his, it is form of his devotional service. That's form of his devotional service. He did this very sincerely. And then, and doing this for thousands and thousands of years, so the Lord became merciful towards him. The Lord became merciful towards Brahmaji, and then the Lord manifested himself. Mad anugrahat. Anugraha means the Lord said, by my mercy. By my mercy, let my manifestation be revealed unto you by my mercy. Mad anugrahat. So we may be rendering devotional service to the Lord, but the fruit of it will come only when the Lord becomes merciful to us. So we have to pray for the Lord's mercy. We have to pray for the Lord's mercy upon us. Our actions will not invoke the Lord, but the Lord can be merciful unto us when the Lord sees our sincerity. When the Lord sees our sincerity, our determination, then the Lord can become merciful. And is Kripa Shakti. Kripa Shakti means is the potency of his mercy that come upon us. When his Kripa Shakti shine upon us, then we can directly perceive the Lord himself. We can directly perceive him. The Lord can become merciful to us. So that's why the Vaishnava they pray that how do we get praying bhakti? The loving service to the Lord. We get this when the Lord is merciful, when we receive the mercy of the Lord. The Vaidhi bhakti is just preparation, just for us to continue the endeavor. We continue the endeavor, and if that endeavor is not broken, one day we come, when the Lord will become merciful to us. And when the Lord is merciful to us, then that's Saksha Darshan. Saksha Darshan means direct seeing, direct manifestation of the Lord. And he manifested to us, just like Brahmaji. His eye became open, and he was able to see the Lord. He was able to see the spiritual world. He saw everything when his eye is open. But the opening of his eye is by the is that happen because he was able to receive the Lord's mercy. So after the Lord's mercy, he got this manifestation of the Lord. The Lord revealed himself. Then he saw himself, he saw the spiritual world. And now the Lord is instructing Brahmaji about the science of self-realization, the science of ultimate reality. So the Lord is giving him this instruction. So it's very, very deep knowledge that can be discussed at this point. So I'm going to stop here because we don't have so much time. Especially in my case, it's almost 10 p.m. here in India, Vrindavan. So if anybody has some questions or comments, oh, it's almost 10 o'clock.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Wow.
Okay.
Well, at least I have learned something unique from today's class as to how to deal with lengthy purports, because I was wondering how you're going to tackle it. And you did very good justice to the purport. Very much detailed information therein. Devotees, if anyone may have questions, realizations from what has been discussed, please you may unmute and go ahead and speak, please.
And, we have some great Mahajans here.
Yeah.
Ganga Prasad, Varaha, Srimad Varaha. Because there was, let's see. All right.
Well, Prabhuji, if I may ask one question, and that is discussing about this, it's like Srila Prabhupada is talking so much about reality and illusory. And it seems material nature is working so tirelessly to keep the conditioned souls in this material world. Like Srila Prabhupada was describing, material nature has two forms, the throwing form and the covering form. Now, material nature has thrown us into this darkness and has covered our intelligence. So, how do we get ourselves disentangled from these throwing and covering aspects of material nature so that we can situate ourselves in reality to render service to Guru and Krishna? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, how do we free ourselves from this entanglement of my the main thing, there has to be a mercy of a sadhu, has to be there. The mercy of a sadhu has to be there, whereby a sadhu become merciful upon us, and then we begin to associate with that sadhu. At the same time, there has to be personal desires. One has to be tired of this material world, which means one has to come to the realization that this material world is just giving me trouble, one trouble after the other. Because as long as we appreciate this material world, then we will never be free from the entire, because as long as we appreciate what material energies has to give us, as long as that appreciation is there, then we will never become free. So one has to come to the complete understanding that this material world is simply troublesome. Simply troublesome at every step. It's simply troublesome at every step. And also sometimes we run into misery. And when we run into miseries, then that keeps us thinking that why should I be subjected to this constant suffering? Because the trouble that material energy is giving us, it doesn't matter what status of life, it doesn't matter what status of life you are in. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter you have or you don't have. Everybody's affected. Just like we have so many millionaires, zillionaires. Even though they have everything, you still see them committing suicide. Even though they have everything, still they commit suicide. Because material energy constantly punishing every living entity. But because of the covering, we are thinking that, oh, I am going to make it. I am going to make it. I keep thinking that way. If I may tell a story, there was one time a king, he asked his minister, he told his minister that he want to find out who's lazy in the city, in the kingdom. So he told his minister to go and make announcement that tomorrow he's going to give free food. He's going to feed everyone. He's going to do a bojang. He's going to feed the whole town. So everybody should come to the king's palace. So the minister went and make big announcement that tomorrow there's going to be a big feasting in the palace of the king. So everybody should come. So before everybody arrived, so the king, he had a big pavilion made, so that everybody can come and sit down to eat. Big pavilion made, he had it made. So the next everybody came, practically almost the whole town came. They all sat in the pavilion. And as they all sat in the pavilion, so the king he told the minister to set this pavilion on fire. So the minister set the pavilion on fire, and everybody ran out except two persons. Two persons, they are friends. So the guy, the other fellow, he told his friend, he said that, I think I'm feeling some heat here. They're both sitting down. He said, I think I'm feeling some heat. And the friend told him, well, maybe you can just turn around. Maybe if you turn around, maybe the heat will go away. So the king noticed these two fellows. He said, oh, this fellow, they are really lazy. These are the really lazy fellows. Even though the fire is burning around them, they cannot get up. They simply say, maybe I should just turn around this way. So which means until we actually feel the effect of this material nature, this material energy, we will not want to get out. We simply want to make adjustment. That's everybody wants. We just really want to make adjustment. Something will get better, something we want to get better. But those who are really tired of this material, those who are really tired, then they want to associate with sadhu. They want to associate with saintly personalities and hear spiritual message from them. So they want to associate with great personalities and hear spiritual message from them. So therefore, there's just no other way than this association. They just, otherwise, we go to so many conferences, peace rally, this rally or that rally, just to start to make things better in the material world. But material world is just not meant for that. It's a place of misery from the beginning to the end. But because of the covering of Maya, we don't realize it. Because of that covering, because our intelligence is covered. Abritam means covering, total covering. So therefore, we want to make the so-called adjustment. We keep making it and then we die. Another body, we will continue making the same adjustment. Another body making the same adjustment, because of the covering of Maya. So only those who are fortunate get the Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Kripa, the mercy of a pure devotee of Krishna, who gave the information of reality, who gave the information of eternal reality. That's all. And that's what Mahaprabhu, when he was teaching Sanatana Goswami, that's what he told him, the association of the sadhu. you know.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji. I think we have His Grace Ganga Prashad. Prabhu, please hear me unmute.
The great Mahajan himself, Ganga Prashad Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandava Pranam,
Hare
Prabhu
Krishna.
Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Nice to see you.
I just indicated hands off so that I can get myself registered in your attendance sheet. Also, benefit from your much turning of this nectar. Hare Krishna.
So it was nice to.
In the course of your lecture, you have mentioned something that is agitated curiosity in me. What is that? If Krishna is said to be Sachit Ananda Vigraha, Sachit, all knowing, he knows everything. And then you said Mahaprabhu came just to relish the bliss that the devotees experience in course of executing devotional service.
Yeah.
Can you help turn this nectar more so that it become more relishable?
Yeah, so like you mentioned that Krishna had 3 greed. He become greedy to know. 3 greed that he has. The one greed is the glory of Srimati Radharani's love for him. And the second greed, the quality in him that make his devotee mad. His own sweetness. So his sweetness, which makes the Srimati Radharani mad, that is second. And the third greed is the bliss that is felt when there's a relishment of Krishna's sweetness by Srimati Radharani and all the gopis. Because whatever the happiness Krishna gets when he's in the association of the gopis of Vrindavan, the gopis, they get 1,000,000 times more happiness than Krishna when they are in his association. They are associating with Krishna, they are associating with each other. The bliss that Krishna gets, but the gopis, they get 1,000,000 times more bliss than Krishna. So therefore, Krishna wants to taste that bliss. He wants to taste it. He wants to taste that happens at their gates. So therefore, Krishna came as Chaitanya Prabhu. He came, and then he came by taking the complexion of Srimati Radharani and also taking her internal mood above. So he became Chaitanya Prabhu just for that relation. In order to, because the Lord become greedy, just like we say, greed is there. Every living entity has got greed. So greed can be good and greed can be bad. So the nature of greed, for example, you mentioned that the devotee should also be greedy. But what should we be greedy for? We should be greedy to be in the association of sadhus. Sadhu Sangha Arikata, association with sadhus so that we can hear about, about Leela, about Krishna. We should exercise our greed that way. So Krishna become greedy because he's the original person and everything begins from him. So when we talk of greed, he's the original person, so the greed begins from him only. So he developed greed. He want greed to understand the devotee's love for him, to understand the nature of their happiness. So you want to understand. So therefore, he become greedy to know that, because the Lord also has greed. Also, we should not think the Lord is not empty. He also has greed. That's what we should know. So therefore, he desire to relish that happiness that his devotees relish when they are in his association, to relish. When they are crying for him, when they say, hey, Krishna, where are you? They are crying, running forest to forest, searching for him. They are getting the topmost happiness. So Krishna, he wants to experience that. So therefore, the Lord comes as Chaitanya Prabhu. And that's the nature of Prem Bhakti, the loving service to Krishna. And that's why he said that this kind of prem bhakti is extremely rare. It's rare, it's a special gift. It's very, very rare thing. It's not easily gotten. Not easily gotten, this prem bhakti, loving service to Krishna. Because it make Krishna greedy. So as that, so how can we compare ourselves? We cannot compare ourselves. We can only pray. To that chance, we can only pray to get the mercy. That's what we can pray to get the mercy. And if we pray, it's very sincere, the tears come from our eyes. Pray, the Lord can be merciful. So you have to pray for that day when we will receive that mercy. We have to pray for that day only. You know. There's this beautiful song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He said, Kobe obe bolo seidi ama. When will that day be mine? Kobe obe bolo seidi ama. And then there's a whole very lesson. When will that day be mine? So that when I chant the Lord's name, tears will come from my eyes. You know? Tears will come from my eyes when I chant the Lord's name. When will that day be mine? So we should have grief for that. We should be greedy that day. When our day will come, that when we chant, we will not stop chanting. Tears will come. We actually feel Krishna dancing on our tongue. We feel Krishna dancing on our tongue, that we will desire to have millions, thousands of millions of mouths. Because Krishna is so sweet that one mouth will not be enough to relish him. One mouth will not be enough to chant his name. Because Krishna is so sweet, Krishna's name is so sweet. And when we hear Krishna's name, it's so sweet that to hear is not enough to hear. It's not enough, because so we are praying for Krishna to give us millions and millions of ears to hear him. Tunde to down. There's this very beautiful verse composed by Rupa Goswami. We are praying that 2 ears is not enough to hear about Krishna. So we are praying for millions and millions of ears. Anyway, that's I'm just praying, and I'm going to keep praying for that day to come.
We are praying likewise.
Thank you very much.
I think we have His Grace Shimura Prabhu's hand up. Prabhu, would you please hear me on mute?
Hare Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandava Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Seven obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees. I'm driving, please tolerate the sound in the background. Thank you very much. Very enlivening class. Just that you made a statement about those who come to hear about spiritual matters, those who they are distressed. If people are having things going on fine, they will not come to hear. So does that mean that only those who are distressed, I get attracted to the spiritual discussion? That's my question. Means that only those who are distressed take interest in spiritual matters.
I mean, look, as Lord said in the Gita, I said, that there are 4 types of pious persons who come to me. Yes, 4 kind of person. Ata Akati, one who is perfect, one who is desiring well, one who is knowledge, and one who is inquisitive. So you have 4 types of people who come to spiritual subjects, 4 types of persons. So the distress, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and the Gyani. So, and of course, the Gyani and the inquisitive are those who have already gone through this material world. They are no longer interested in what this material world has to offer. They just have no interest. So therefore, they become inquisitive. They have no more interest in what this world has to offer. So therefore, I mean, just like in the beginning when ISKCON started in the beginning, many young people, many of us who are young, when we began, it's like we just have no interest in the, we don't have no interest in material pursuits. We're very, there must have been something that got us inclined to just become inquisitive about spiritual matters. Probably has to do with previous life endeavor has to be there, and so those were very inquisitive. So previous life endeavor definitely is there, and then there are those who are actually distressed. Those who are actually distressed because maybe they've been treated very, very badly by the material energy. Being treated very badly by material energy. So therefore, they come. They come. And we have many, many stories that are actually there. How sometimes people, they are so distressed that to the point that they want to commit suicide, they want to give up their life. And then somehow they meet a sadhu who will give them instruction, and then they will give up. They will give up the idea of wanting to give up their life, and then they will take up spiritual matter. And there was the story of another person. This person, he was a businessman. He had a lot of money. Actually, this story was told by, Govind Maharaj. So this person was a businessman. He had a lot of money, but he was so rich, but he cannot sleep. He can't sleep. He's so rich, and that's the nature of business people. They have so much money because they are busy counting the money. They cannot sleep. And this person will go to doctor. They will still go to so many doctors. Still, no doctors could cure him. So one day, this fellow, he has one friend. He told his friend that, look, I cannot sleep. No, doctors cannot help me. What to do? So his friend told him that, well, I know one sadhu at the other side of the town. Maybe this sadhu can help you. I think because this sadhu has got some mystic power. Maybe if you go to him, maybe he can help you. Even though this fellow doesn't really like to go, he doesn't really like the idea of going to a sadhu, but he has this distress, he cannot sleep. So he went to the sadhu. He went to the sadhu's monastery. So it was the evening time, and that time when this fellow arrived to the monastery, that time the sadhu was there, and there are many people were there, and then the kirtan was going on. So this fellow, he stood at the back. He wanted that when the program is finished, he would go to the sadhu and ask him questions about asking the cure for his insomnia. So the kirtan was going on. The person was sitting on and after the kirtan, so everybody sat down. So he also sat down. And then the sadhu was giving lecture, just like in our temple. You come to our temple, there's a kirtan, evening kirtan. After the kirtan, there's a guitar class. So the lecture was going on. So this person was also listening to the lecture. And after some time, he started feeling asleep. And then as I was feeling asleep, normally it's not good, of course, devotees fall asleep all the time during class. So he was falling asleep, and then some people tried to wake him up, say, hey, wake up, don't sleep. So the sadhu told them that don't wake him up. Medicine is applied. Don't wake him, medicine applied. Don't wake him, medicine applied. So this person slept, and he slept the same time, and he slept all night till the next morning. So when he woke up this next morning, he was surprised. He said that I've never had this sleep before for a long time. What kind of medicine the sadhu has given me? What kind of medicine I've been given that enable me to sleep like this all night long? So he went to the sadhu, Maharaj, what medicine did you give me? I never slept like this before. So the sadhu said, just keep coming. You keep coming like this all the time, your insomnia will go away. So because of this person developed faith in the sadhu, so he was coming every day He was hearing Harikatha, able to sleep and all that. And then so eventually, you know, he become imperious, and then eventually become devotee eventually. So, you know, initially there's distress is there, and through Sadhu Sangha association with a saintly person. So ultimately, that will go, ultimately one takes out back to. So again, just to address the question that dear Krishna said, 4 kind of people approach me: those who are distressed, those who are looking for wealth, those who are inquisitive, and those who are wise. So those kind of 4 people they come to me. And of course, the Lord said that the best one is the one who's in knowledge of Him. The wise person is usually the topmost. I hope that satisfies your curiosity. Maybe you want to elaborate on that, Vara Prabhu?
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
You want to elaborate on it? You'd like to elaborate on that? Oh, maybe he's driving.
Yeah, he's driving. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think he is happy with the answer. I think it's a very sweet answer. Prabhu, you referenced Kabehabe Bolo. That is a very I don't know the lyrics offhand, but it's a very beautiful song that I know you. The time is kind of late for you, but if we may read just the English translation, I think it would be very nice.
Yeah, it's a very, very wonderful song. Kobe obe bolo seidi ama. Aparada sudana meruchi kipa bole obe ridoya sancha. I used to sing this song many times.
Yeah.
So
thank you so much.
Maybe we can't read that song on our time because my time is going.
Yeah. So dear devotees, please, we're going to humbly request you all. And in fact, Prabhuji, before you go, we would like to formally say a big thank you to you, one, for giving this class, which to me was a very difficult subject matter to discuss, and 2, also accepting to speak today, because Prabhuji was originally scheduled to speak tomorrow, but there was a problem we encountered on Monday, and so Prabhuji agreed to speak today. It was quite inconvenient, but he agreed to speak today. So we say thank you so much for accepting this inconvenience. And devotees, on this note, we humbly requesting you all to kindly unmute, and we all chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express our appreciation to our revered speaker, His Grace Ishwara Prabhu. Jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpa tarabhyascha, kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavanabhyo, vaishnavabhyo namo namaha. All glories to His Grace Ishwara Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. See you some other time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.